the new God of joy, the new gods of joy, the new God of joy, the new goddess of joy, the new goddesses of joy, the new goddess of joy, the old God of joy, the old gods of joy, the old God of joy, the old goddess of joy, the old goddesses of joy, the old goddess of joy, the greater God of joy, the greater gods of joy, the greater God of joy, the greater goddess of joy, the greater goddesses of joy, the greater goddess of joy, the lesser God of joy, the lesser gods of joy, the lesser God of joy, the lesser goddess of joy, the lesser goddesses of joy, the lesser goddess of joy, the higher God of joy, the higher gods of joy, the higher God of joy, the higher goddess of joy, the higher goddesses of joy, the higher goddess of joy, the lower God of joy, the lower gods of joy, the lower God of joy, the lower goddess of joy, the lower goddesses of joy, the lower goddess of joy, the greater spirit of joy, the greater spirits of joy, the greater spirit of joy, the lesser spirit of joy, the lesser spirits of joy, the lesser spirit of joy, the higher spirit of joy, the higher spirits of joy, the higher spirit of joy, the lower spirit of joy, the lower spirits of joy, the lower spirit of joy, the major God of joy, the major gods of joy, the major God of joy, the major goddess of joy, the major goddesses of joy, the major goddess of joy, the minor God of joy, the minor gods of joy, the minor God of joy, the minor goddess of joy, the minor goddesses of joy, the minor goddess of joy, the superior God of joy, the superior gods of joy, the superior God of joy, the superior goddess of joy, the superior goddesses of joy, the superior goddess of joy, the inferior God of joy, the inferior gods of joy, the inferior God of joy, the inferior goddess of joy, the inferior goddesses of joy, the inferior goddess of joy, the ancestor God of joy, the ancestor gods of joy, the ancestor God of joy, the ancestor goddess of joy, the ancestor goddesses of joy, the ancestor goddess of joy, the ascendant God of joy, the ascendant gods of joy, the ascendant God of joy, the ascendant goddess of joy, the ascendant goddesses of joy, the ascendant goddess of joy, the descendant God of joy, the descendant gods of joy, the descendant God of joy, the descendant goddess of joy, the descendant goddesses of joy, the descendant goddess of joy, the transcendent God of joy, the transcendent gods of joy, the transcendent God of joy, the transcendent goddess of joy, the transcendent goddesses of joy, the transcendent goddess of joy, the past God of joy, the past gods of joy, the past God of joy, the past goddess of joy, the past goddesses of joy, the past goddess of joy, the present God of joy, the present gods of joy, the present God of joy, the present goddess of joy, the present goddesses of joy, the present goddess of joy, the future God of joy, the future gods of joy, the future God of joy, the future goddess of joy, the future goddesses of joy, the future goddess of joy, the authentic God of joy, the authentic gods of joy, the authentic God of joy, the authentic goddess of joy, the authentic goddesses of joy, the authentic goddess of joy, the synthetic God of joy, the synthetic gods of joy, the synthetic God of joy, the synthetic goddess of joy, the synthetic goddesses of joy, the synthetic goddess of joy, the progressive God of joy, the progressive gods of joy, the progressive God of joy, the progressive goddess of joy, the progressive goddesses of joy, the progressive goddess of joy, the regressive God of joy, the regressive gods of joy, the regressive God of joy, the regressive goddess of joy, the regressive goddesses of joy, the regressive goddess of joy, the ordinary God of joy, the ordinary gods of joy, the ordinary God of joy, the ordinary goddess of joy, the ordinary goddesses of joy, the ordinary goddess of joy, the extraordinary God of joy, the extraordinary gods of joy, the extraordinary God of joy, the extraordinary goddess of joy, the extraordinary goddesses of joy, the extraordinary goddess of joy, the static God of joy, the static gods of joy, the static God of joy, the static goddess of joy, the static goddesses of joy, the static goddess of joy, the dynamic god of joy, the dynamic gods of joy, the dynamic god of joy, the dynamic goddess of joy, the dynamic goddesses of joy, the dynamic goddess of joy, the land god of joy, the land gods of joy, the land god of joy, the land goddess of joy, the land goddesses of joy, the land goddess of joy, the sea god of joy, the sea gods of joy, the sea god of joy, the sea goddess of joy, the sea goddesses of joy, the sea goddess of joy, the sky god of joy, the sky gods of joy, the sky god of joy, the sky goddess of joy, the sky goddesses of joy, the sky goddess of joy, the god of joy, the gods of joy, the god of joy, the goddess of joy, the goddesses of joy, the goddess of joy, the half god of joy, the half gods of joy, the half god of joy, the half goddess of joy, the half goddesses of joy, the half goddess of joy, the vessel of joy, the vessels of joy, the vessel of joy, the name of joy, the names of joy, the name of joy, the person of joy, the persons of joy, the person of joy, the persona of joy, the personas of joy, the persona of joy, the personage of joy, the personages of joy, the personage of joy, the personality of joy, the personalities of joy, the personality of joy, the personification of joy, the personifications of joy, the personification of joy, the image of joy, the images of joy, the image of joy, the imagination of joy, the imaginations of joy, the imagination of joy, the belief of joy, the beliefs of joy, the belief of joy, the thought of joy, the thoughts of joy, the thought of joy, the word of joy, the words of joy, the word of joy, the action of joy, the actions of joy, the action of joy, the reaction of joy, the reactions of joy, the reaction of joy, the feeling of joy, the feelings of joy, the feeling of joy, the situation of joy, the situations of joy, the situation of joy, the circumstance of joy, the circumstances of joy, the circumstance of joy, the environment of joy, the environments of joy, the environment of joy, the relationship of joy, the relationships of joy, the relationship of joy, the number of joy, the numbers of joy, the number of joy, the formula of joy, the formulas of joy, the formula of joy, the equation of joy, the equations of joy, the equation of joy, the theory of joy, the theories of joy, the theory of joy, the symbol of joy, the symbols of joy, the symbol of joy, the color of joy, the colors of joy, the color of joy, the thing of joy, the things of joy, the thing of joy, the way of joy, the ways of joy, the way of joy, the place of joy, the places of joy, the place of joy, the time of joy, the times of joy, the time of joy, the event of joy, the events of joy, the event of joy, the result of joy, the results of joy, the result of joy, the crown of joy, the crowns of joy, the crown of joy, the throne of joy, the thrones of joy, the throne of joy, the joy king, the joy kings, the joy kingdom, the joy kingdoms, the joy king subject, the joy king subjects, the joy king's dominion, the joy king's dominions, the kingdom of joy, the kingdoms of joy, the kingdom of joy, the joy queen, the joy queens, the joy queendom, the joy queendoms, the joy queen subject, the joy queen subjects, the joy queen's dominion, the joy queen's dominions, the queendom of joy, the queendoms of joy, the queendom of joy, the joy prince, the joy princes, the joy princedom, the joy princedoms, the joy prince's subject, the joy prince's subjects, the joy prince's dominion, the joy prince's dominions, the princedom of joy, the princedoms of joy, the princedom of joy, the joy princess, the joy princesses, the joy princessdom, the joy princessdoms, the joy princess's subject, the joy princess's subjects, the joy princess's dominion, the joy princess's dominions, the princessdom of joy, the princessdoms of joy, the princessdom of joy, the Lord of joy, the lords of joy, the Lord of joy, the lordess of joy, the lordesses of joy, the lordess of joy, the priest of joy, the priests of joy, the priest of joy, the priestess of joy, the priestesses of joy, the priestess of joy, the ritual of joy, the rituals of joy, the ritual of joy, the shrine of joy, the shrines of joy, the shrine of joy, the temple of joy, the temples of joy, the temple of joy, the leader of joy, the leaders of joy, the leader of joy, the follower of joy, the followers of joy, the follower of joy, the natural substance of joy, the natural substances of joy, the natural substance of joy, the supernatural substance of joy, the supernatural substances of joy, the supernatural substance of joy, the temporal substance of joy, the temporal substances of joy, the temporal substance of joy, the spiritual substance of joy, the spiritual substances of joy, the spiritual substance of joy, the natural form of joy, the natural forms of joy, the natural form of joy, the supernatural form of joy, the supernatural forms of joy, the supernatural form of joy, the temporal form of joy, the temporal forms of joy, the temporal form of joy, the spiritual form of joy, the spiritual forms of joy, the spiritual form of joy, the age of joy, the ages of joy, the age of joy, the era of joy, the heiress of joy, the era of joy, the awakener of joy, the awakeners of joy, the awakener of joy, the awakening of joy, the awakenings of joy, the awakening of joy, the realm of joy, the realms of joy, the realm of joy, the dimension of joy, the dimensions of joy, the dimension of joy, the zone of joy, the zones of joy, the zone of joy, the frequency of joy, the frequencies of joy, the frequency of joy, the century of joy, the centuries of joy, the century of joy, the millennium of joy, the millenniums of joy, the millennium of joy, the purpose of joy, the purposes of joy, the purpose of joy, the meaning of joy, the meanings of joy, the meaning of joy, the culture of joy, the cultures of joy, the culture of joy, the demonstrator of joy, the demonstrators of joy, the demonstrator of joy, the demonstration of joy, the demonstrations of joy, the demonstration of joy, the manifester of joy, the manifestors of joy, the manifester of joy, the manifestation of joy, the manifestations of joy, the manifestation of joy, the presence of joy, the presences of joy, the presence of joy, the glow of joy, the glows of joy, the glow of joy, the goal of joy, the goals of joy, the goal of joy, the plan of joy, the plans of joy, the plan of joy, the book of joy, the books of joy, the book of joy, the philosopher of joy, the philosophers of joy, the philosopher of joy, the philosophy of joy, the philosophies of joy, the philosophy of joy, the releaser of joy, the releasers of joy, the releaser of joy, the release of joy, the releases of joy, the release of joy, the variable of joy, the variables of joy, the variable of joy, the cause of joy, the causes of joy, the cause of joy, the effect of joy, the effects of joy, the effect of joy, the journey of joy, the journeys of joy, the journey of joy, the emergence of joy, the emergences of joy, the emergence of joy, the source of joy, the sources of joy, the source of joy, the originator of joy, the originators of joy, the originator of joy, the origin of joy, the origins of joy, the origin of joy, the forefather of joy, the forefathers of joy, the forefather of joy, the foremother of joy, the foremothers of joy, the foremother of joy, the ancestor of joy, the ancestors of joy, the ancestor of joy, the descendant of joy, the descendants of joy, the descendant of joy, the lineage of joy, the lineages of joy, the lineage of joy, the heritage of joy, the heritages of joy, the heritage of joy, the heir of joy, the heirs of joy, the heir of joy, the co-heir of joy, the co-heirs of joy, the core of joy, the joint heir of joy, the joint heirs of joy, the joint heir of joy, the dynasty of joy, the dynasties of joy, the dynasty of joy, the force of joy, the forces of joy, the force of joy, the law of joy, the laws of joy, the law of joy, the pact of joy, the pacts of joy, the pact of joy, the game of joy, the games of joy, the game of joy, the mask of joy, the masks of joy, the mask of joy, the armor of joy, the armors of joy, the armor of joy, the sword of joy, the swords of joy, the sword of joy, the shield of joy, the shields of joy, the shield of joy, the force shield of joy, the force shields of joy, the force shield of joy, the armored force shield of joy, the armored force shields of joy, the armored force shield of joy, the champion of joy, the champions of joy, the champion of joy, the guardian of joy, the guardians of joy, the guardian of joy, the defender of joy, the defenders of joy, the defender of joy, the protector of joy, the protectors of joy, the protector of joy, the chant of joy, the chants of joy, the chant of joy, the shape of joy, the shapes of joy, the shape of joy, the cube of joy, the cubes of joy, the cube of joy, the cuboid of joy, the cuboids of joy, the cuboid of joy, the sphere of joy, the spheres of joy, the sphere of joy, the spheroid of joy, the spheroids of joy, the spheroid of joy, the prism of joy, the prisms of joy, the prism of joy, the pyramid of joy, the pyramids of joy, the pyramid of joy, the cylinder of joy, the cylinders of joy, the cylinder of joy, the cone of joy, the cones of joy, the cone of joy, the triangle of joy, the triangles of joy, the triangle of joy, the circle of joy, the circles of joy, the circle of joy, the semicircle of joy, the semicircles of joy, the semicircle of joy, the square of joy, the squares of joy, the square of joy, the rectangle of joy, the rectangles of joy, the rectangle of joy, the parallelogram of joy, the parallelograms of joy, the parallelogram of joy, the rhombus of joy, the rhombuses of joy, the rhombus of joy, the trapezoid of joy, the trapezoids of joy, the trapezoid of joy, the polygon of joy, the polygons of joy, the polygon of joy, the pentagon of joy, the pentagons of joy, the pentagon of joy, the hexagon of joy, the hexagons of joy, the hexagon of joy, the septagon of joy, the septagons of joy, the septagon of joy, the octagon of joy, the octagons of joy, the octagon of joy, the nonagon of joy, the nonagons of joy, the nonagon of joy, the decagon of joy, the decagons of joy, the decagon of joy, the evolution of joy, the evolutions of joy, the evolution of joy, the revolution of joy, the revolutions of joy, the revolution of joy, the elemental art of joy, the elemental arts of joy, the elemental art of joy, the elemental science of joy, the elemental sciences of joy, the elemental science of joy, the elemental principle of joy, the elemental principles of joy, the elemental principle of joy, the elemental technology of joy, the elemental technologies of joy, the elemental technology of joy, the low elemental art of joy, the low elemental arts of joy, the low elemental art of joy, the low elemental science of joy, the low elemental sciences of joy, the low elemental science of joy, the low elemental principle of joy, the low elemental principles of joy, the low elemental principle of joy, the low elemental technology of joy, the low elemental technologies of joy, the low elemental technology of joy, the high elemental art of joy, the high elemental arts of joy, the high elemental art of joy, the high elemental science of joy, the high elemental sciences of joy, the high elemental science of joy, the high elemental principle of joy, the high elemental principles of joy, the high elemental principle of joy, the high elemental technology of joy, the high elemental technologies of joy, the high elemental technology of joy, the agent of joy, the agents of joy, the agent of joy, the agency of joy, the agencies of joy, the agency of joy, the amplifier of joy, the amplifiers of joy, the amplifier of joy, the amplification of joy, the amplifications of joy, the amplification of joy, the enhancer of joy, the enhancers of joy, the enhancer of joy, the enhancement of joy, the enhancements of joy, the enhancement of joy, the magnifier of joy, the magnifiers of joy, the magnifier of joy, the magnification of joy, the magnifications of joy, the magnification of joy, the influencer of joy, the influencers of joy, the influencer of joy, the influence of joy, the influences of joy, the influence of joy, the emanator of joy, the emanators of joy, the emanator of joy, the emanation of joy, the emanations of joy, the emanation of joy, the converger of joy, the convergers of joy, the converger of joy, the convergence of joy, the convergences of joy, the convergence of joy, the aura of joy, the auras of joy, the aura of joy, the impression of joy, the impressions of joy, the impression of joy, the intelligence of joy, the intelligences of joy, the intelligence of joy, the sophistication of joy, the sophistications of joy, the sophistication of joy, the genius of joy, the geniuses of joy, the genius of joy, the polymath of joy, the polymaths of joy, the polymath of joy, the psychic of joy, the psychics of joy, the psychic of joy, the knowledge of joy, the knowledges of joy, the knowledge of joy, the understanding of joy, the understandings of joy, the understanding of joy, the wisdom of joy, the wisdoms of joy, the wisdom of joy, the secret of joy, the secrets of joy, the secret of joy, the mystery of joy, the mysteries of joy, the mystery of joy, the revelation of joy, the revelations of joy, the revelation of joy, the tactic of joy, the tactics of joy, the tactic of joy, the strategy of joy, the strategies of joy, the strategy of joy, the strength of joy, the strengths of joy, the strength of joy, the might of joy, the mights of joy, the might of joy, the power of joy, the powers of joy, the power of joy, the authority of joy, the authorities of joy, the authority of joy, the dominion of joy, the dominions of joy, the dominion of joy, the rhythm of joy, the rhythms of joy, the rhythm of joy, the melody of joy, the melodies of joy, the melody of joy, the music of joy, the musics of joy, the music of joy, the lyric of joy, the lyrics of joy, the lyric of joy, the song of joy, the songs of joy, the song of joy, the dance of joy, the dances of joy, the dance of joy, the spirit of joy, the spirits of joy, the spirit of joy, the soul of joy, the souls of joy, the soul of joy, the body of joy, the bodies of joy, the body of joy, the mark of joy, the marks of joy, the mark of joy, the promise of joy, the promises of joy, the promise of joy, the visionary of joy, the visionaries of joy, the visionary of joy, the vision of joy, the visions of joy, the vision of joy, the picture of joy, the pictures of joy, the picture of joy, the sound of joy, the sounds of joy, the sound of joy, the dung of joy, the dungs of joy, the dung of joy, the language of joy, the languages of joy, the language of joy, the communication of joy, the communications of joy, the communication of joy, the people of joy, the peoples of joy, the people of joy, the society of joy, the societies of joy, the society of joy, the fortress of joy, the fortresses of joy, the fortress of joy, the government of joy, the governments of joy, the government of joy, the city of joy, the cities of joy, the city of joy, the nation of joy, the nations of joy, the nation of joy, the civilization of joy, the civilizations of joy, the civilization of joy, the world of joy, the worlds of joy, the world of joy,